Hello everyone. In this video I'll be showing you how to make the best air fryer crispy chicken tenders. Now this is going to be made with chicken breast. It's actually relatively simple. We're going to use chicken breast, 2 eggs, some seasoning, and breadcrumbs. We're going to be using an air fryer. I have the Ninja Foodie, but you can use really any air fryer. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take our chicken breast here and we're going to cut it into fillets. So you want to have a pretty decent knife to do this with so that you can ensure that you'll be cutting it relatively, it doesn't take forever to saw through the chicken. So first step here, chicken. I'm going to throw that out onto the cutting board there and getting into cutting it. So you usually want to cut against the grain when it comes to chicken breast, but whatever is quickest and easiest to get this cut into strips is what we're going to go with. So I'm just going to get to cutting here. Alright, so once you got all your chicken cut up into little strips here, the next step is to get the bowl that we're going to be mixing it in. So take a bowl, we're going to crack 2 eggs, you can use 1, or you can also use some olive oil if you want to switch things up. Really any type of fat that's going to get it defined. Eggs is usually my preferred method to add a little bit extra protein, and I don't know, I like eggs, so that's my choice. I've also used olive oil in the past. You also don't really need oil, to be honest, with an air fryer. But we're going to go with this here. I'm just going to beat the eggs a little bit here with a knife to reduce the amount of things we're using here. But you can also use a whisk. I have a whisk literally right in front of me and I'm looking at it. So once you got that all mixed together, we're going to start adding in our seasoning. So there's you can use a recipe for this or it's kind of greasy. You do what I'm doing and just mixing the eggs in with the chicken itself and then mixing in our breadcrumbs, and we're going to use sea salt or seasoning salt. The Lowry seasoning salt there is pretty good. It's important to wash your hands while doing this too because we're handling chicken and eggs. But next we're going to add in these are Panko Japanese style breadcrumbs. I just got this from Walmart. It's a great value brand, so you can probably find that relatively easy if you go look for it. And it's a pretty nice type of breadcrumb because it's going to make it feel extra crispy. Now we're going to mix in some Lowry seasoning salt as well. I'm a big fan of this because of the flavor that it gives, and it's going to pair perfectly with these breadcrumbs. So these are the 2 ingredients, making it relatively simple. And let's go add in some seasoning. The seasoning is similar to the stuff that A&W uses if you ever have A&W burgers. Similar stuff there. So next we got our Panko style breadcrumbs. We're going to add in a bunch of those and then just kind of shake it all up and get it all over everything. So we're going to get them all coated and then season it up too. Oh yeah, so to show that off, the Panko style, dipped in the eggs and the chicken breast. This is gross and I'm just using my hand, but again, we wash our hands a lot and they're gonna look crispy, crunchy like that. So it's actually really easy to get this, breaded perfectly and then seasoned up very well. It just takes a little bit of mixing in a bowl. You can, however, do this there's a few different ways you can go about doing this, like the shake and bake style, putting it in a bag, or, really any way that gets the batter mixed or the breadcrumbs mixed in with it. Yeah, and get some seasoning in there too. Mix it up, get it all coated together, and then when we throw it in the air fryer, it's going to cook really easily. So just like that. I need a lot more breadcrumbs. The eggs are absorbing it right up. You can also add some flour to this too, if you want. So once we got the chicken breast seasoned up well and covered with the Panko breadcrumbs, next we're going to put it into the air fryer. And get it loaded up into it. So typically we'd use just the top rack, but I'm going to put the bottom rack in there too, just to make sure that we don't drip anything through, just to play it on the safe side. Now we're going to take our chicken here and just put it spread out on this pan. So making sure that we keep the breadcrumbs on it as much as possible. as we separate these strips and try to balance it all out. And you can stick a lot of this breadcrumb back to the chicken if it's falling off, so that's one nice thing about it, is it will clump a bit with the eggs, but we want to have them as separate from each other as possible and get them all covered up with this good stuff. So I'm sticking it right on there. We're just going to put a little bit more just to make sure that it's all covered up as much as we can get it. You see any of those little spots that it's not sticking to very well, I think I have the bottom of it all decently well, but we want to have it fully coated as much as possible, so there. And we'll be putting this into the air fryer. I like to put it on 400 for about 8 to 10 minutes depending on how thick they are. You can use a food thermometer to tell, and then we're going to cook them. 415. And there we go. So after that, we're going to take the chicken out, and it smells amazing. So you can use tongs to take it out. I find that this leaves the breading from ripping off at the least, so we're going to flip it here and cook it again. So after you flip them, you're going to take them out and they're going to be probably done. So you can use a food thermometer, or you can trust that you have the right heat. I would recommend using a food thermometer, but this is something I've made many times, so I'm pretty confident that that's going to be done right there. And whoo, the sound of that. So it took around 14 minutes to cook, and I had to flip them one time. They smell amazing right now. This smells like a nice restaurant, which is kind of funny. So I'm gonna get those onto a plate, get some sauce, and I'm gonna do a little review, taste test, let you know how they were. So here's the chicken. I cannot wait to eat this. So I got the chicken here now with a garlic aioli as well as a jalapeno queso. And I'm going to have it with both of these here, and even just on its own, to talk a little bit about the flavor in this chicken. So it is super crunchy, just even putting a fork into it. Very crunchy. The egg really adds to it, makes it a little bit of a different texture than what you normally would have out of, like, let's say shake and bake chicken. That crunch, so good. Panko breadcrumbs, the best for making any type of breaded chicken. That added crunch is just too nice. One more piece of this here, and then I'll give my review, talk about the recipe a little bit. That is seriously so good. So, to make your own Panko, that was seriously so good. So, to make your own, all you really need, chicken breast, an egg. You can add in flour, I didn't, but adding in flour would make it stick a little bit better together. The breadcrumbs and a bit of seasoning salt, delicious, really easy to make. Cut it up, put it in the air fryer, done. I cooked it for 14 minutes, 7 minutes each side, and it came out really crispy. And that texture is just really, really nice. You don't get that often, but with this mixture, it's simple and easy to do. So there you have it. If you want to make your own air fryer crispy chicken fillets or crispy tenders, whatever you want to call these, that is how you do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.